2005 and two young construction workers are cashing in their winnings. Again, casino games are rigged to favour the house. Nobody thinks that they can be beaten. However, these two men have found a loophole in the casino system. This is a true story that altered Vegas casinos forever. A story that kicked off in a garage 1 year earlier. It's 2004 and Jeremy Lewis, a 20-year-old with a checkered past, has been laying low for 2 years. He's traded a life of petty crime for a steady job in construction. And life's been good, but recently, the Las Vegas construction boom has come to a halt. With a shortage in new contracts, Jeremy, his boss, and several of their team have been caught out. With credit cards, insurance premiums, looming mortgage payments, and families depending on them, desperation begins to take hold. To support the younger families, they start taking jobs further and further out of town. One evening, as they drive down the Las Vegas Strip, his boss is talking about the casino billboards. A giant casino chip dominates an ad, its vibrant colours almost lifelike. Have you ever wondered how they make those things, he asks. Silence. The question hangs in the air, but Jeremy and the others know exactly what he's getting at. They've fantasised about this sort of thing before. The Green Valley Ranch Casino is up ahead, just 10 minutes off the Vegas Strip. They pass it each day, except tomorrow they haven't got any work. Quickly, they throw a plan together. They'll stop off at the casino to pick up a selection of its cheapest chips. The following morning, they'll regroup at Eric's house after his wife has gone to work. In his garage, they'll break down and examine the chips carefully. If the rumour they've heard is correct, they'll already have access to the tools and materials that they need. It's time to solve their problem and get rich quick. Early the next day, Jeremy's boss, Eric, slides open the garage door. With a folding workbench to hand, he's ready to assemble their makeshift workshop. At this stage, it's not the most sophisticated setup because first, they need to find out exactly what the casino chips are made of. Replicating the size and shape of the chips will be easy, but matching the weight, texture, and colour is something else. Any replicas they make will need to look just like the real thing. But what they're made of is a well-guarded secret. Almost immediately, they realise that there are two main elements to each chip. A customised inner disc, relevant to the casino's brand and the chip's value, and a larger, tougher exterior that makes up the main body. Presumably, the same chip manufacturers are supplying multiple casinos with different value chips using the same process. He's seen them in the Luxor and Bellagio himself. If they can replicate one chip, they can replicate them all. As the team works, they joke about future riches, cars, watches, and imagining their financial troubles a distant memory. However, the reality of their task quickly sobers them up. So far, they've broken and melted a bunch of Green Valley casino chips, only costing them more money. Over the next few weeks, they experiment with various compounds in an attempt to mimic the feel and weight of an authentic casino chip. They discover that American casino chips are made from a unique compound of plastic, sand, and clay composite. Understandably, the casinos have the exact compound kept secret. Whatever they do isn't quite right. Either the weight is wrong, the texture isn't quite right, or the colours are totally different. One of the biggest hurdles is the sound the chip makes when dropped. Compared to a genuine chip, their fakes nearly always make a heavier, deeper thudding sound when they drop. With each attempt failed, frustration grows. The days turn into weeks and months. Tension amongst the group is mounting. Some team members, facing extreme financial pressure, start to lose faith in the project. Petty arguments break out and the once jovial atmosphere in the garage has turned sour. It's not long before only Eric and Jeremy remain. Standing in the now quiet garage, Eric turns to Jeremy. "We've come too far to give this up." Jeremy nods in agreement. They've crossed the line and there's no going back. They're determined to make this work. Desperate for information, the duo collect details about Vegas manufacturers such as Chipco and Gaming Partners International. They spend hours scouring the internet for small details, but the process is a closely guarded secret. Unmoved, they decide to gather more intelligence, collecting more chips and additional denominations from the Green Valley Casino. Back in their makeshift lab, Eric and Jeremy spend hours studying the new casino chips under a bright light with a magnifying glass. They note the subtle differences between the different value chips, the colours, the branding, and the intricate designs. And there are plenty of similarities, but replicating these features from scratch seems impossible. Frustrated, Eric sits down with a Sharpie pen, sketching idly on a spare pad of paper. Bingo! In that moment, the penny drops. It's so simple, it feels stupid. Next to the pad on the table in front of him is a white $1 chip and a darkly coloured $100 chip. Both have pale coloured stripes positioned around the outer rim. In his hand, a Sharpie. "We just need to colour them in." If they alter a $1 chip, it solves a huge amount of problems, and effectively, they can turn a $1 investment into a $99 profit. Fast. Now Eric's breakthrough has solved their material issues. They just have to solve the problems with colour matching, modifying the chip's dollar amount, and replicating the security features for high value chips. They learn that casinos routinely mark their chips with invisible inks that only show in infrared or ultraviolet light. After a lot of trial and error, they discover that by dropping a chip into boiling water, they're able to soften the internal disc and separate it from the casino chip's main body. With the body being made of a solid clay plastic composite, it's unaffected. It's a revelation that opens up a world of possibilities because they can now separate a $100 casino chip's internal disc design and scan it into Eric's home computer. From there, they can print the higher value design and create thousands of duplicates in no time at all. Next, they remove the internal disc on a $1 chip with boiling water. Using painter's tape, they paint the blank $1 chip with a $100 chip's pattern. However, they quickly realise that using a brush applies the paint too thickly. It just doesn't look right. The solution? A simple airbrush with a spray finish. The tricky part here is the colour matching. The pair spend days perfecting the perfect mix. Once the chip is painted, they warm them up with a hairdryer, add a blob of adhesive and compress the two elements together using Eric's wife's pasta roller. Finally, they fake the $100 chip's security markings under an ultraviolet lamp. The casino cashiers only check them quickly and they're nothing fancy, so it's pretty straightforward. Now is the moment of truth. Armed with 3 newly transformed $100 chips, they drive into the Green Valley Ranch Casino's parking lot. Eric's terrible at lying, so he waits nervously in the car while Jeremy heads into the casino. The minutes feel like hours as Eric anxiously watches the casino's south entrance. Finally, Jeremy emerges, his face unreadable. As soon as Jeremy's in the car, Eric speeds away, his foot heavy on the accelerator. A few moments later, Jeremy erupts into laughter. He's holding $300 cash in his right hand, and Jeremy wants to celebrate right away. But Eric has other plans. It's a pivotal moment. They've proven their concept, but now they just need to scale up. Back in Eric's garage the next day, they begin to treat this operation like a business. The entire conversion process is transformed into a slick production line. To minimise the risk of getting caught whilst maximising profits, they decide to target 8 different casinos all at the same time. The casinos use extremely similar chips, so why the hell not? But there's a problem. They quickly realise that simply cashing in the chips will raise suspicion. They need a new strategy for cashing in the casino chips. Effectively, they need to launder the dirty chips. To do it, they'll need to head into the casino and actually play. This way, if checked, the casino security will clearly see that they got their chips from legitimate play when they check the cameras. However, in reality, they'll be switching out the dirty chips with clean ones in private places like the casino's restroom. It's a clever strategy that allows them to fly under the radar. Quickly, their operation expands beyond the Green Valley Ranch to other casinos, including some of the major properties like Caesar's Palace and Mandalay Bay. And as their scheme grows, so does their confidence. They're raking in serious cash and fast. But there's a problem. They know that the longer they keep doing this, the higher the risk of getting caught. They need to make as much money as possible in the shortest period of time, and then quit while they're ahead. To do this, Eric, the businessman amongst the two, streamlines the process. It now takes just 5 to 10 minutes to make a single chip from start to finish. They're careful to ensure the best quality, producing about 20 chips per day. And $2,000 a day is good money, but it's nothing to these greedy casinos, so they up the stakes. So they're now turning $1 chips into $500 chips. Eric's wife is starting to ask where the money is coming from and why the garage is full of paint, but in truth, she doesn't really want to know. You see, their lifestyle has improved drastically. Eric's stashing cash in the closet, buying her luxurious gifts, and taking her out to eat several times a week. It's almost too good to be true. Meanwhile, Jeremy's restocking the garage with paint and collecting more chips from different casinos. Metallic looking chips are popular in some of the casinos, so they learn to mix glitter pens with the paint. Before long, Eric and Jeremy are adapting coloured chips of all denominations from a whole host of casinos. However, success breeds complacency and conflict. Eric learns that Jeremy has been partying with groups of girls in an $800 a night suite at the Riviera Hotel and Casino. It's the easiest way to draw the wrong attention, and that is exactly what happens. One of the girls Jeremy's been hanging out with starts to blackmail him. Foolishly, he's told her what they're doing, and she demands money, a lot of money, threatening to tell the police about their operation if they don't pay up. Her motivation? to get her boyfriend out of prison early. Eric and Jeremy have found themselves in a serious situation here. They've got to pay her off. It's a wake-up call, but it's not their only problem. Tensions rise further when Jeremy reveals a more personal secret to Eric. He has a history of arrests, involvement with drugs, and an outstanding forgery warrant in California. At this point, Eric realises his partner's a major liability, but it's too late. They're in deep now. At the same time, some of the Vegas casinos are on the hunt. They've noticed the unusually high number of high-value chips being cashed in. Where are they all coming from? Eric and Jeremy feel like they've dodged a bullet with the blackmailer. It was a close call, but unknown to them, their carefully constructed house of cards is about to come tumbling down. The Vegas casinos are seriously unhappy because when they're not the ones rigging the game, they're the victims. It's March of 2005 and Eric's wife is heading out of town for the weekend. Quickly, the pair see it as a perfect opportunity. To make up for their blackmailing costs and avoid the rising Vegas heat, they set their sights on Atlantic City. This time, they're not playing small either. Eric and Jeremy plan to transform a bag of $1 casino chips into higher value $1,000 chips. The hope is to hit several casinos for $1 million in a single weekend. It's a bold move and they're confident. They've already sharpened their skills in Vegas, so a short, sharp hit in Atlantic City will be easy money. But as they gather materials and take them to Eric's garage, they're unaware that outside the garage, they're being watched. Inside, they'll produce chips with peak efficiency because now it just takes minutes to transform a chip. They've adapted coloured chips of all denominations from 8 of these different casinos, but this is their most ambitious undertaking yet. With the afternoon drawing to a close, they boil up the last batch of $1 chips. Stacks of $1,000 chips are already sat on the side awaiting their Atlantic City debut. Feeling pretty good about the situation, Eric and Jeremy crack open a beer. They're about to pull off the biggest score of their lives. It's April 2004 and a tap at the door interrupts the two men. Concerned his wife might be returning early, Eric rushes to get it. Instead, upon opening the door, several law enforcement officers pile in. The raid is swift and decisive. They swarm the garage, catching Jeremy red-handed. The evidence is overwhelming. Thousands of counterfeit chips, all in various stages of production. As the agents search the premises further, they uncover so much more than they'd even bargained for. $1 chips from the biggest casinos, spray paints, printing plastic, it's all there. The quality of these chips is impeccable. Later, investigators revealed that the vast majority of them were untraceable. Eric and Jeremy are led away in handcuffs. Their Atlantic City dreams gone. The gravity of their situation becomes clear when bail is set at a staggering $5 million each, an amount usually reserved for the most serious crimes imaginable. Clearly, the government and the casinos are heavily intertwined, stacked against the average citizen. But how did they get caught? Sitting in a dingy interrogation room, it all becomes clear. The girl Jeremy had been seeing really did love her boyfriend. After taking their bribe, she turned him in anyway, in the hope that he'd get a lighter sentence. The consequences are severe. Jeremy's arrest brings his past crashing down around him. Outstanding warrants for drug offences and forgery in California mean he's facing a long stretch behind bars. However, Eric cooperates with enforcement fully, receiving 5 years probation, community service, and just 9 days behind bars. For Las Vegas casinos, it's an embarrassing episode. 2 lowly construction workers fooled them into taking thousands of counterfeit casino chips. And if it wasn't for someone else, they wouldn't have been caught. To stop it happening again, the casinos respond with RFID technology. Each casino chip now includes a small microchip. The radio frequency identification allows casino owners to track and verify what each chip is truly worth. Because it's not cheating when they rig the game. Well, not unless you're a genius like the guy in this next story here.